he sees everybody, so that helps us a lot.
He already said everything.
Trey, just want to get your
Very well coached. They got a good big. They got players that hustle and make energy plays. I know number 10, he was at Bakersfield last year. We knew he was going to come in and shoot the ball. So we just had to be mentally prepared. Disappointed in some scouting report mistakes that we made. But I feel like we pulled it out, and we just got to put it behind us now.
Obviously, another opportunity Friday against a really good team. What do you guys want to correct, or what do you want to work on going into that game on Friday?
We got to come out extremely energetic. He's played at MSG. I've never been to New York, so I'm very excited, and we got to come out with the energy like we need it. We're very excited. From a team perspective, who wouldn't want to play against UConn in arguably the best arena in America? So, yeah.
So I'm curious, what is it like to operate in a ball screen with Mihailo? Like, how does that work for you, and what kind of advantage does he give? Maybe in those situations.
Yeah, he's back. He looks for the pass first, and I feel like me and him got a great connection, and he looks to pass first.
Zvonimir, what is it like to play at Madison Square Garden, and what's it like to play in a game like that? Yeah.
It's amazing, for real. We played there in Michigan last year. We won. It was a really good game, loud, really loud, a lot of people, huge gym. It's really special.
For both of you, what do you see from your defense tonight? Coach Underwood seemed a little bit unhappy with the way you guarded tonight.
Yeah, like I said, we made some very simple scouting report mistakes, but we just have to be better. Every game we have to be better defensively from now on. We know that there's not going to be any easy games moving forward. So,
Andre, just how you feel Tommy's working his way back? What have you seen from him the last couple games as he builds this up?
Yeah, it's been great. Having him out on the floor just makes it easier for the perimeter guys, opens up the floor. We shot the ball poorly today, and we still scored 90, was one of the things Coach said. So we're all shooters. We're going to see the ball go in. So we're confident that even Tommy, who's been out, he's going to get his rhythm back. Everyone who's been out is going to get the rhythm back. So it's just great to have him back out there, him and Mihailo.
Guys, maybe this is a better question for Coach, but Mihailo seems very coachable, even for you guys and some of the other guys that have played more college basketball. I'm wondering how much you're able to help him out and make sure you're on the same page with him throughout each game or even in practices.
Every player in this team is, very coachable. Everybody wants to listen. Everybody wants to get better, and when you have that team, it's really hard to get better at every segment. So. That's it.
You know your brother as well as anybody. What have you seen from him, and kind of what's, I would assume, in the long 6 weeks and his road back to playing basketball?
He's still got a long way to go. To get back, but he gives us, he can do everything. Pass, shoot, fight down, rebound, everything. So we just need him to get back at 100%, and we're gonna be great.
Definitely heard Coach Underwood, yelling for people to cut in the first half, but the second half, did you feel like you guys maybe attack, put pressure on the rim in different ways, maybe better than you did in the first half?
Yeah, just some spacing adjustments. Knowing when to cut properly at the right time, having a guy in the dunker, rotating properly when someone's cutting baseline or middle. Just stuff that we work on every day that we had to fix up and tidy up for the second half.
On defense, or it seemed like on defense, you were heard. Your voice was heard tonight a lot. Is that something that is natural for you, is to call stuff out and be vocal, or is that something as you grow confidence that you've done more?
It wasn't natural till Coach Cam was really on me, to start being vocal to help my teammates out. And I was working on that the whole summer, and now It is what it is. Thank you all. Have a good night.
and my hat's off to their coach and their players, and I spent a few years in the Southland, and that's going to be a team that's going to be very, very competitive, top to bottom in that league. So he's got them playing really hard, and I thought they played harder than we did tonight, with a little more focus. But found a way. Tonight we didn't shoot the ball very well. Tonight we weren't very sharp. I think one of the challenges that you kind of look at the trap game. I thought we bounced back from the Alabama game, and I think Long Island's better than we allowed them to look. But tonight we escaped and did some nice things. Still didn't shoot the ball very well, and close to 90, and yet I thought we were just okay. Defensively, some of these smaller teams give us some challenges in guarding the bounce. I thought Mihajlo and Z came in and gave us a great lift. Mihajlo we went back to some ball screen stuff with them, and we got a couple pops and a couple dunks, and he actually made some great passes that weren't assisted because we didn't make the shots. But I thought we were a little bit tired. I'm tired, but that's the way postseason basketball is, and you play tired, and we've got to continue to grow from that. The thing I'm most disappointed in are scouting report mistakes, and I thought the kid for Kai Dixon for them was outstanding. A kid averaging 7 gets 21, and most of them just because he played really hard. So hats off to them, and now it's on to another one on Friday.
Brad, I think Mihajlo was the 10th guy to come off the bench, and then you played him a lot. Just where are you at with him, and how is he a part of the rotation, and how do you see that kind of moving forward?
I don't know. If you want to be honest, if you want me to be honest, I mean, we're still working through that. He was the first one off the bench the other night. I think we have depth. I think we have some quality. I thought this was a game that he impacted at a really high level with his ability to get in the paint. I don't think we got enough stops to truthfully get out and run and let him be at his best. But yeah, I'm still searching, to be very honest with him. Still don't have a very good feel for our rotation yet, what that looks like. We're literally, 10, 12 days into this, and with everybody. So, it's nice to have him because he played good tonight. When Keaton was off a little bit, and Bam, we didn't have to play him as many minutes, but Bam impacted the game at a very high level defensively. So it was nice to have him.
Coach, last year at times it felt like if Ben had a bad shooting night, Ben just kind of had a rough night. Now it seems like he's impacting the game more. I'm wondering how far you've seen him come defensively and rebounding.
Well, you saw that tonight. I mean, Ben's becoming an elite perimeter defender. I mean, he's a guy that cares. He's a guy that's got length. He's got bounce. He's got great timing. He made a couple of tremendous blocks, on the drive, and he's rebounding it at a really high level. On a night when it wasn't Merck's best night, he was outstanding on that end.
Coach, you've talked about the ability to go small when you need to. Is that starting to come to, when you get healthy, is that starting to come to fruition a little bit? You threw out a couple of small lineups.
A lot of it will be based on them, their opponent. Well, I think one of the things we see sometimes in non-conference games is we don't see the size that we see in the Big Ten, or in high major games. And I think as needed, we can go to that. But I also know that we've been, I go back to our Florida scrimmage. I go back to, some of those when teams are really big, it's nice to have that size.
I know you're still working on your rotation, but with Mihail's skill set, what is the process of working someone who's so good with the ball in his hands back into things naturally?
It's two ends to that as well. I mean, I think he's still, we jumped in zone tonight. I know most of you probably had a heart attack, but it's the communication thing with him is still growing. He was not in zone. He was in man. He went with a cutter, and we're still working through some of those things, and that comes with just practice and timing. He practices a lot with Z. We got to get him with some of the other guys as well in the second unit as we continue to develop that. But he's got a great skill set offensively. Made some great passes, and his speed gives us where we just blew by people, got downhill.
Yes, you've had other guards that can operate in ball screens pretty well, but what does Mihailo do differently, or just because he seems very comfortable in those actions?
Yeah, he's grown up in them, and he's not maybe quite the playmaker that Kasparis was, and that's an elite level. Obviously, got a first-round pick. Part of that's just size, but his understanding of them is very good. And then he's probably a better finisher than KJ. In terms of at the rim and his pull-up. He missed a little floater that he normally makes late, but he's a guy that just has a real knack for it, and then he can make every pass. He sees things that a lot of people don't, and that's the advantage for him, is just his pure understanding of the game.
Some of the hiccups defensively, was it more an effort thing or communication, or just a combination of everything?
Both, all of it. I mean, we talked about a certain screen that they run and how we were going to handle it, and we were 0 for 3 on it. And handling it. That's just scouting report. Part of it's matchup. It's we've got to get better. We were really flat. They're just their little dribble handoffs to start the game. We worked on them all day yesterday, and we're fine. And as soon as the game started today, we were 3 steps behind. First play of the game. They've got wraparound layups, and just not very good at them. Just flat.
Maybe not the best night to talk about defensive execution, but it seemed like with Z, he was heard, at least tonight, on defense. I mean, and being vocal, and he said tonight that wasn't natural to him before he got here. I was curious how you go about getting that out of somebody when it's not natural and they've played a lot of basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how he's ever played. I don't know, maybe there's other coaches that do things differently than we do, but you have to talk. It's not a game of mind reading, and you have to communicate. And when you're a golfer, you've got to become a great listener, and then you've got to be able to process and adjust, or otherwise you're going to get screened, and that's at every level. And as a guy who's guarding a screener, you have to communicate that. So I don't know how that's worked before, but it's something we demand. We have a saying, quiet teams lose, and you have to communicate. And it's one of the things that we've probably said 1 million times already in practice.
Brad, after defensive issues, what kind of ammo does that give you in practice the next couple of days?
A lot. I mean, we're getting ready to face one of the best teams in the country, who's going to run great offense. And, they're completely different but it's more the fundamental things, and the one thing I'm not going to stand for is not playing hard enough. And I was disappointed in Merck today. He played like he practiced yesterday, and which was not very good. And he's when he had his 20 and 20 game, he was phenomenal in practice. We couldn't guard him, and he was energetic, and can't happen. And that's where maturity's got to step in, and he's got to handle that.
Since you brought up zone, what was your process of getting comfortable using that as a curveball? Just, we know it's not something you've done a lot, and what do you like about what it adds to you?
Well, I think especially when we're effective offensively and size is impacting us on that end. Sometimes you play smaller, effective. I thought we did some good things, and I think we had 3 or 4 stops in a row, and then they got to hit a 3, but you're going to give something up in that. But the one thing with zone is just recognition of where shooters are, and we got to continue to grow in that area. And to be honest, we haven't spent as much time to use it and see what it looked like.
You mentioned Halo and Z work together a lot. Did they just gravitate to each other, or do you see? I mean, did they put an extra after practice?
No, I think a lot of it's just in the course of practice, Scott. I think we play first team, second team a lot, and those we've been slid Tommy in there, and those guys have spent a good amount of time together, and so there's a nice connection, nice rhythm, and not that he doesn't have it with other guys, but it's those two seem to have a pretty good little connection.
I believe you guys were 19 for 22 from the free throw line tonight. How many free throws did you have them shooting the last 5 days of practice?
You know what? I went just the other way. I left it alone. Sometimes it can become another mental thing that, I made my point after the Alabama game. It's why we lost that game. Was I didn't feel like Alabama beat us. They won. But I thought that if we make free throws, we win that game. And made enough of an issue about it. And so, these guys have a tremendous amount of want to and care. So they shot him, but we literally didn't spend a ton of time on him. We shot a few at the end of practice and did a little conditioning with it, but nothing over the top.
Looks like UT Rio Grande played very physical tonight. What did you think about your team's response to some of that?
Yeah, I thought they outplayed us in that area, and that hadn't happened all year. My hat's off. They're well coached. That team, their coach is terrific, and I watched enough film to know in Baylor, Boise, the Missouri State games. I mean, this team's going to compete, and he's got him competing at a really high level.
When Halo was on the bench, he had whatever device on his leg. Is that just precautionary, just to keep the hamstring warm, or how is he feeling?
I would think so. I don't know. I haven't asked. I don't really care. I just want to make sure he's good. But he's hasn't had any complaints or any issues with it. I know it's still maintenance every day after practice to keep it, I guess, progressing. And so, I know when you're in and out, you want to keep it loose.
You talked about working through the communication with him. What's that been like for you guys, and how much do your players help you there?
A lot. And I think the one thing we've got to do is, it's where Andre is the same way, just in Andre's fine with the language. It's just the mispractice, and that's where you communicate so many things in practice when you've got, when things are live and they're moving fast and there's a lot going on, and, his instincts about the game, Milo's, are terrific. But sometimes it's I got to get him over to me more during the game when there's a dead ball and make sure that we're communicating and we huddle a good amount and that's something that's a little different for him as well. They don't over there like that. So getting guys in the huddle, there was a timeout, our team was screaming at him to get in the huddle. Those are little things that can and will help him.
Maybe getting ahead of myself a little bit, but I think 5 straight games, I think now, with opponents that are in the top 40, Ken Palm, schedule gets a lot tougher. How do you feel about the team heading into this stretch?
Yeah, I think that's why we've done this. We've seen Florida, we've seen Tech, we've seen Alabama, all of them very, very different, to get ready for this stretch. And then we've had an opportunity to kind of try to stack some positives with developing a bench and a rotation and getting guys going and I think, and we've done that with Dre. I think Tommy's gotten himself back into a place where he's functioning at a conditioning level. I think that's good, but we're going to find out. I think it's quality opponents, and I think we've shown that even though we came out on the wrong side of the Bama one, they're very, very good, and obviously beat a good Tech team and who was playing great at the time. So I just think we're ready to find out. We're ready to see.